It is impossible to review this shoe without talking about how this shoe was released. So just be upfront, I'm not going to complain about the things that they already communicated to the customer. So I'm not going to complain about the character that I got. We knew that it was a blind box, so can't complain for getting yourself into that. I won't even complain about the shoe, like the actual shoe they chose to use for this collaboration. Again, blind box, you don't see the shoe beforehand. We knew what we were signing up for. However, the process of this collaboration and release, I want to talk about the timeline real quick. So on July 24th of 2025, we were able to enter in our raffles, $200. You can enter as many times as you want. And on the 29th of July, they were emailing people that their raffle entries actually came through with size 4. So you had to go and email them, correcting them and telling them what your actual shoe size was. So that kind of manual process, emailing back and forth to support, don't love that. That gives a lot of room for error. So there was already a little bit of concern there on my part. But moving on, weeks go by, no shipping, no update, no nothing. So I emailed them. To their credit, they responded and said that they're trying to get this shoe out at the same time to everybody. So pictures won't get leaked online first. You didn't get spoiled, I guess. But that's actually literally impossible. This shoe theoretically would be going out to customers all across the country. Unless you literally own the means of shipping and distribution, you are not going to be able to get this shoe to every household on the same day at the same time. It's going to be leaked. If I live in the middle of nowhere, I will probably get a bit later than someone living in like LA. That's just how it works. On August 16th, they email, I'm assuming every customer, notifying them that apparently the shipment is caught up in customs. Part of it, they said, was because of the tariffs. And if you've ever dealt with customs, it can be a headache because you don't really know when it'll be released. So they notified us it could take a while. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, even 6 months. Now months go by. November 14th, we receive an email. Good news. On November 23rd, Puma would be sending advisory board crystals the shipment. Apparently Customs has released it, which I actually just realized. I haven't even mentioned the people that are behind the shoe. Advisory board crystals, they're like a brand, a shop located in Los Angeles. But then after that email, weeks go by, nothing, no shipping updates. Now by the end of December, finally get a shipping update. I actually got the shoe to my house like very end of December. So the whole process took July, August, September, October, November, December. So 6 months. Now, I will say I know they're a small business. I'm not too sure how many people are actually behind the brand in the store, but I understand. Small business, we don't expect them to be as responsive or ship as quickly as like Amazon. No one's expecting that. And I do appreciate them providing a few updates along the way, but I think it was the confusion that got a lot of people upset. So it was like they wanted everyone to get their shoe at the same exact time, literally impossible, and Customs held it up, which I guess theoretically is possible, but it's not very satisfactory. Now, to be honest, I'm not even sure I'm like upset about it. I just think they kind of missed a critical window to release this shoe right when the movie was coming out, which the raffle was around the time the newest Fantastic Four movie was dropping. So the popularity or the topical nature of it was probably at its peak around there. So there's that. The release itself was a blind blister pack, which means you weren't really sure which character you were going to get. There was 7 characters. So you had Mr. Fantastic, Reed Richards, Johnny Storm, Human Torch, Sue Storm, Invisible Woman, The Thing, Ben Grimm. You also were able to get Dr. Doom or Galactus or Silver Surfer. Now, not only is a blind box where you don't know which character you're going to get, you don't even know what shoe they were going to collaborate on. Like, you don't know any of the designs. You had no idea. You couldn't even really hope to get a specific colorway. You can just hope to get a character. So it really was the blindest of boxes. So for me, I kind of wish I would have gotten Dr. Doom or Galactus. That was like my preferred 2 characters, but I think they were probably the rarest to get. Now, I will say the one character that I didn't really want was The Thing. I just never really loved him as a character. I've read a pretty significant portion of the comics for Fantastic Four, the modern era anyway. Read all of Hickman's work on the Fantastic Four. Recommend it highly. I know a lot of people do like The Thing, but to me, just never really kind of appeal to me much. So he was my least desired character. Now, who did I get? Ready? Throw it up. I'm gonna hopefully catch it. I got the thing. Puma Advisory Board Crystals, Fantastic Four, the thing. And the shoe first dropped all the way back on July 29th for $200. I haven't seen any photos of Doctor Doom, and I haven't seen any photos of Galactus. So I'm assuming those are the rarest characters. If anyone has them, please let me know, drop a comment below. I would love to see it. I'm hoping they are out there somewhere. And one thing I have to mention, I am very sorry for those people that got Sue Storm, because I get it. Like the storytelling, the theme of her is the Invisible Woman, of course. And they have done this on past non-Puma collaborations with Nike, which I'll get to a bit later in the video actually, but the see-through nature of that shoe it's like too much. I don't want a shoe that naked, that see-through. No. No. I'm sorry. Like when you put that shoe on, you almost wish you were actually invisible, because I would not want those on my feet. First impressions of the shoe, I will say I'm probably not as disappointed as some people out there. I'm a fan, a big fan of comic books. So I already have like an external factor that draws me to this collaboration. And I think the Puma Majesty, the shape of the shoe, the silhouette of the shoe, it is not my favorite, but it is okay. It is good. It is not like something I would never ever wear. But in terms of just the colors applied, the storytelling, and just unboxing this, I wasn't like too disappointed or anything. I wasn't blown away, but I wasn't like, I regret my life choices. I'm content with what I got. And the materials on the shoe, there is a few things going on. So on the base layer, you do get this like textile over the like actual layer itself, but you can actually remove this. So you can cut it up, and underneath you'll get exposed to like leather, but it is designed to have a texture kind of like rocks, as well as to look like flesh and meat. So going for like the Thing's kind of appearance. And shout out to Reddit user Rob Hall, who actually posted what it looks like after you cut up that material. Personally, I don't like that toe look. The other parts are fine, but I just don't like the kind of skeletons and bones that peeks out from the toe box area. So I'm gonna keep it like this. But then on the toe box here, on the overlays, that is just suede. The suede here actually feels pretty nice. And wrapping around to the lateral side of the shoe, you'll get Fantastic Four's logo, as well as the tag, and that is mismatched. So on the right shoe, you will get ABC, that stands for Advisory Board Crystals, as well as Marvel's tag. And then on the ankle collar, again, mismatched there. That first of all, in terms of how it feels, that again is trying to create like this rock type of touch that is just like leather there. And then on the left shoe, you'll see the Thing. On the right shoe, it says Ben Grimm. Obviously, that is the Thing's actual name. And then on the booty of the shoe, you get this reflective mirror-like heel counter. On the bottom, that is suede again, similar to the toe box area. The tongue, again, is covered in this like textile, and it is mismatched again. So left shoe says ABC #1, Advisory Board Crystals. And on the right shoe, you'll get a little graphic of the Thing, as well as Marvel branding. And then behind the tongue itself, on the left shoe, Advisory Board Crystals branding, and the phrase produced and programmed with specific energy and intention. And then on the right shoe, it is just like a Puma logo. So this shoe does come with 2 sets of laces, so blue as well as white. It does come with these like thick laces. Out of the two, I think white just looks a little bit more cleaner. Yeah, it's a little bit more simpler. I think a little bit more easy to wear on a pretty loud shoe already. This baby blue obviously does match Fantastic Four's costumes and outfit. So if you want to go for a more bold look, you can go with the blue. I think it just kind of clashes with some of the colors on the shoe. And you'll see on the lace tips here, it is slightly like detached on one side, and it does come with like middle like lace tips. Now in terms of the ankle lining itself, that is also all like textured there. And moving on to the cushioning of the shoe, you will just see a big thick rubber cup sole with almost paint-like splatter all over the shoe, extending onto the outsole itself. a majority herringbone outsole with Puma Majesty branding and that little cutout over there. And it also has the Fantastic Four logo on the toe box. Now in terms of the insole, it is custom branded. It is meant to look like flesh with Marvel and Advisory Board Crystals branding on the heel there. I have to say the graphic on this, I'm gonna leave it there. The quality of these insoles is like decently thick in terms of the actual thickness, but density wise, yeah, not great. It is like light, doesn't feel great quality. It's kind of hot trash if I have to say. Now, in terms of the box, this is what you see first. So you have the 7 characters, Fantastic Four branding on the side there, and you slide this sucker out. This is what you get, like a green type of sea foam base, all the characters again, boom, more character specific branding there with each of their names. On the back, I thought I missed it, but it is here. It does have the thing's phrase, it's clobbering time. Inside though, just very plain paper, a little disappointing there. No like playing card, no like custom comic. I think they kind of missed an opportunity there. For 200 bucks, I wanted something extra. And in terms of sizing and comfort, I am a wide and flat footer. For these, I just went true to size. I feel like it fits me pretty well. If you don't have wide and fat feet, you may be able to go down half a size, but definitely get a second opinion. For me, staying true to size, I think works best. And comfort-wise, pretty ancient technology, big thick rubber cup sole. If you are used to wearing like Air Force Ones, Jordan 1s, or Nike Dunks, this will feel pretty familiar to you. Very durable, but not a lot of weight savings, and it's old. Kind of feels like doesn't have much softness or cushioning under your foot. So if you're looking for like that bouncy type of responsive feel on feet, probably wouldn't go with these. But other than that, I feel like it wraps around your feet pretty well. Not like a super snug shoe with a ton of padding inside. So overall comfort, it is average, not like super deliciously comfortable. And that brings the total score of the Advisory Board Crystals Puma Fantastic Four The Thing shoe to 34.5 out of 50. An okay score compared to other collaborations. Now first, it is colorway. As I get older, brown shoes kind of appeal to me more and more. Or like deep red, deep orange. I really like how they look. The colors here are maybe a little too bright, but I do get it. They don't really have much to go with because they have to kind of match the colors of Ben Grimm, The Thing. So there's not a ton they could change in terms of the base of the colors anyway, but it's a little bit too bright. I think it's a nice colorway, but not like great. Doesn't get me super excited. Like when I opened these, I hadn't actually seen any photos. I completely avoided that. I was like, this isn't bad, but I think that'll blow my socks off. Now in terms of the materials, the suede here on the toe box as well as the heel actually feels decent. Underneath the textiles, I have to admit, I can't feel it. I don't want to cut it up, but if they're the same as the ankle lining here, it's not like the best leather or anything. Don't expect it to be, but the suede at least here feels pretty good. And in terms of the comfort, this is a pretty old shoe. It doesn't have like the most advanced technology, doesn't have the most responsive cushioning. So it's not super comfortable, but if you're used to wearing kind of like older retro shoes, this shouldn't be too much of a surprise. You won't really have to adjust. And in terms of the versatility, I think the shape of the shoe actually is decent. I know low tops are slightly more versatile, like to a general audience. This is more like a mid-cut shoe, but I think the shape, it does work. It's not like super out there, super weird. But in terms of the versatility of the colorway though, obviously a lot going on, a ton. And again, not really their fault. The whole point of the shoe is to be like a super fun collaboration, a very bold take, but just in a vacuum. If you brought this to like people that don't care about Fantastic Four, they just want a wearable, nice, easy to wear shoe for different settings, I don't think this colorway is gonna be their first choice. And in terms of the storytelling though, I have to say, gotta give them credit. I think they did a great job. All the different nods to the thing, so with his actual name and the thing kind of subtly put on the ankle lining there, the branding for themselves, as well as the branding for Marvel and the thing. The box itself is fun, custom branded insoles. I do wish though they gave you like a card, similar to how the Kith Marvel collaboration did. I think they could have given a few more extras as part of the shoe, but In terms of the shoe itself, the box, it is really good in terms of storytelling. Now today's throwback of the day, staying very on theme. It is the 2006 Nike Fantastic 4-pack, and a specific shoe out of that pack was the Air Force One Sue Storm Invisible Woman colorway. And I mention this because this year's Sue Storm collaboration, talked about it earlier in the videos, just rewind a bit, but didn't love it. But this shoe actually also featured that see-through toe box, which for me, I've never really saw the appeal. I would never want to expose my socks or my feet like that through shoes. But I wanted to mention this just because it was unique at the time. I still think it looks kind of out there, very bold. Let me know what you think of this in particular. There was also the Foamposite Dr. Doom, even though they're featured in all black. Kind of missed an opportunity to use more green there, but it was the Johnny Storm MX95 as well, forgetting the other ones. But this one, as an Air Force One fan, not sure how I feel about it. Honestly, a lot of people are pretty upset about the whole release and how it went. I will say I'm probably not as upset as some of them. I get it. Small businesses are very hard to run, and I get it. They probably had their hearts in the right place. They wanted to do something very special, and I can appreciate it. I know a lot of people aren't a huge fan of these. I don't hate it. The colorway, I don't hate it either. And me, as a big, huge comic book fan, I am content with what I got. So that's it. Thanks for watching. So inclined. Let me know what you think of the Puma advisory board crystals, the Fantastic Four, the thing. What a mouthful. Like, subscribe, comment, all the good stuff. And remember, tomorrow may never come, so wear your shoes.